Hey guys, it's me Bella. I mean what I say and I say what I mean. Coming at you with another video today about my bestie, one of my besties, Honey. We were dancers together. We met in the club. We were still tiny weeny people, you know what I mean? I think we had just turned 18. I was riding around like a boss. I would get in like, I don't know, I would meet guys, at the club and get in their car, and I'd be like, no, I'm gonna drive, and I'd be like, no. I barely met her, so she wasn't my bestie at that moment, but I was like, nah, my homegirl's gonna sit in the front seat with me and you're gonna sit in the back. It was like always like a Mercedes or a Porsche or something like that. I had my own, somebody from the club got me my own T-top Porsche with my first vehicle that somebody gave me from the club, but that's another story for another day. But yes, we met, and she always thought that I rode like a boss, and she also did. After a while, she also rode like a boss. Don't get me wrong, she does her own thing, but she always looked at me like, wow, you know what I mean? A lot of girls always looked at me like, wow, like, you know what I mean? I was young and I went in full speed, you know what I mean? Full swing like a freight train. Woo, ready to do everything about everything. Really just a boss, you know what I mean? A leader, not a follower. Really big on that. So anyways, yeah, I met her, Honey. We were just hanging out and stuff like that. I used to hang around with a lot of girls at that time. Like I said, I had my own vehicle, my own place, all that stuff. I don't know why all the girls didn't, but I did. So I was always able to pick up Malaya, Honey, anybody that I wanted to, Evelyn, a lot of people that you're gonna hear in these stories. Honey, one of the guys she would date was named Black. Real funny story. He would stay in some apartments over there by a place that was by my friends, so it was really cool. Like, I would go visit my friend Robert, and then I would drop her off, and then, you know what I mean, it was just like a cool, like, around the corner place. So she would call me like, hey, pick me up, whatever, you know what I mean? So I would go pick her up, and she would give me those stories like, man, my boyfriend Black, he stays in a room. I guess the whole apartment wasn't his. I guess it was like roommates, or I don't know if he was staying with family or what. It was a really long time ago, this boyfriend. It was when we were back still in the club, so it was a long time ago. So anyways, his name was Black. He had a room. I guess he had one room. In the room, it was just like one couch, you know what I mean? And I believe nothing else, you know what I mean? So she would say that he would tell her like, man, like, why do you have to eat so much? Even though she would only eat like maybe once a day, if that. They would obviously sleep on the couch when she'd spend the night, you know what I mean? And, you know, obviously on the couch, you kind of have to like sleep sideways. Everybody that knows that slept on the couch with your little partner knows you gotta sleep sideways. You gotta make room for both people. You gotta kind of like hug each other and cuddle and make it happen, you know what I mean? But anyways, this is how she looks. She's real tiny. I just want to let y'all know again, she's not like a big girl. And back then in the club, she was always very trim, very tiny, very small, petite. She always kept herself right. I would go in thick, skinny, chunky, all kinds of ways, and I would still hustle my money though. But I would go in all types of ways. She kept it trim all the time. So she was tiny, and he would tell her like, damn girl, you're so fat, like, why are you like eating so much? Now we can't even fit on the couch. And make her feel bad, so she wouldn't eat like the whole next day, or he wouldn't feed her, because he said that he would lock the door from the outside, you know what I mean? And I think he would lock it from the outside so nobody would steal from him. That's what I'm thinking, you know what I mean? But then when he was there, and her, and I think other girls too, he treated them the same way, and he would lock the door or whatever. And so she couldn't go out and get nothing to eat or whatever. I would tell her, why don't you just crawl out the window and crawl back in, you know what I mean? Make it happen. But anyway, so she would say stuff like that. Like, he was like, yeah, you're so fat, you're so this, you're so that. They would fight and argue. I remember one time we were at the club, and we were there, just me and her, you know, of course, making money or whatever, you know what I mean? And then I left. I would always leave. I never like stayed all night till 2. I never did, even from the beginning. I would leave or whatever, and then when I left, they jumped her. They jumped her, and it was because of that guy Black. Like it was like crazy, and I remember her being like, "Is this what you want?" You know what I mean? Like they had a tumultuous relationship like that, just to like explain the situation. Like they were together, but they were not together. In front of the cousin, I guess they weren't together, but I don't know. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. And anyway, so when he would kick her out, he would be like, he would get this gun. I guess he always had this gun, you know what I mean? He would always be like, leave, 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 you know what I mean? Get the F out of here, get out of here. And he'd follow her with the gun and like click, clack it, and like, you know, make it seem like he was going to shoot it and stuff like that. So of course, you know what I mean? She'd be like, hell no, like, you know what I mean? I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? Just let me out. I'm out. I'm hungry. I'm dizzy. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm trying to get to civilization, you know what I mean? So yeah, she would always be ready to go when it was time to go. So she'd be going or whatever. This one time her brother-in-law was there. He was some guy that used to make money at the club with, you know, extracurricular, you know what I mean? And they were there, and I remember he was like scared with her, you know what I mean, because he kicked them both out. At this time, it was kicking them both out, you know what I mean. And at this other incident, because it's not one time that he kicked her out with the gun, it was many times. And this one incident, they're like getting out, they're scared, you know what I mean, because I think he even shot it in the air or something like that. And they're going, and they even like, there's a store nearby with like bushes. I think they like hid in the bushes, you know what I mean. And she was like, what are we gonna do? And he was like, shh, be quiet, be quiet. He was like, bitch, this nigga's crazy, like, stop, be quiet. Anyways, they crawled out of there after a while, but it's just funny how it was just like a bunch of times that he would do that. Anyway, so after a while, he did that like a few times to her. It was funny. I would have to go pick her up in a hurry and stuff like that, looking for her to see where she's at. Have her a sandwich ready for her because I knew she was starving. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? And one time I picked her up. I think we were eating McDonald's or something. Me and Malay were eating something, but I remember she was like, give me some french fries, give me some this, give me some that. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. He won't feed me. He don't let me get no food. Like, man, he says I'm fat. Like, we're just laughing. You know what I mean? You know, me and Malay, we laugh. You know, we bust out laughing. We're like, damn, you're so funny. Like, why do you go back there? Da, da, da. Like, you know what I mean? The D must be good, or something must be good for you to keep going back. Because, girl, you know what I mean? It's so dramatic all the time. But anyways, it's just funny. And at this moment, she's getting a phone call, right? This is the time when we had them big Zach Morris phones. It was just in the beginning of cell phones, you know what I mean? She's getting a phone call, and it's just my bestie, so it's funny. It's the people, the guy's family. They're like, yeah, he shot at his girlfriend. He shot the girlfriend's car. Like, he shot it up like a few times, you know what I mean? And the cops got up to him, and he's gone, you know what I mean? He's gonna be gone for a little bit, you know what I mean? Do you want to send him money? Mind you, he's shooting at his girlfriend. She just left his house, starving, hungry, kicked her out with the gun, you know what I'm saying? We had to pick her up around the corner. And then, yeah, 10 minutes later, she gets this call, and she's like, yeah, he shot at his girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, dang, we just left. Like, you know, we're just around the corner from there, like crazy. And they're like, yeah, he shot up the car. He's going to jail. He's locked up. He's on. And they're like, are you going to ride him? Are you going to send him money? Are you going to, like, you know what I mean? You're going to stay tight with them, or And my bestie's like, yes, send me the address. Send me the address, send me all the info, send me everything you can. I'm going to give him everything. I'm going to send him all the money I can. I'm going to sell his couch. And I'm going to make it happen. You know what I mean? I'm going to send him all the money I can make it with. So, like, she's saying all this to them. Me and Malaya, we can't even hold it. We're just, like, laughing. You know what I mean? We're laughing. I smoke. She drinks. Like, we laughing. We joshing. We laughing. We just like, damn, no, my God. You know what I mean? Bestie, no. No, bestie. Stop. Just stop. Let us not be witnesses to this. But anyway, so she's like, yeah, right. She hangs up. we all look at each other, right? I mean, she's looking at us, we're looking at each other, we all just bust out laughing. We're like, damn. And I was like, you really gonna send that money, bitch? You gonna send that taco money that you know you never get to eat at his house? And she was like, nah, I ain't sending nothing. I just said that. But it was just like a real funny situation. You know what I mean? One of the guys she was dating was like that. I'm sure if I look for his information, I can even find like the chart and stuff like that. I tried. I didn't really try hard, but I tried earlier. But I'm sure if I tried hard, I can. You know what I mean? Because I know the location and everything. But yeah, it was just funny boyfriends situations we have. There's gonna be plenty of stories about me as well. But of course about a lot of my besties that I hung around with. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, we're besties. We're still friends. There's a lot of situations that come up when you're besties and like family. So, you know what I mean. But she still lives here in Corpus. You know what I mean. Like, you know what I mean. We still tight and stuff like that. We was like family for a long time. So, but a lot of things have come up. I'm not gonna lie. But besides that, yeah, that's the story for today about my bestie in black. One of her boyfriends. There'll be plenty more. Yeah, have a good one. I hope you enjoyed it.